Out of the tight parking space, out of the tight parking lot, at the Surfer.
I roll down the window.
You don't.
20 to 7.
Oh, there's mosquitoes.
July of 1998.
The air conditioning is on. I'll turn it on higher.
But what about mosquitoes?
There's the temperature control going on. We're going to do an interview with Howard Brown. And I actually know how to get there, believe it or not.
Oh, all right.
Well, Howard does too.
How to get there?
We're going to take Broadway to Front Street. We can take 5 to Front Street to Broadway, Broadway to 4th Avenue.
Are you taping right now?
Yes, I am, Sarah. In the car, we have Sarah.
And we're following a city.
My mommy.
Hello, everyone.
And Mr.
Red-headed.
Marshall, red-headed, Riddle. But the main focus today, this evening, is going to be from Howard.
Grandpa driver.
Does anybody have any questions for Howard?
I do.
Just.
What's your question, Sarah?
In front,
How many
can you see
miles
the
per
car in
hour
front
are
of
we
you?
going?
Well, so far -1.
Minus 1 mile an hour. Moving right along. Any other questions?
No, don't interview the driver. He's got to drive first. He's got to concentrate.
Howard, what's your all-time favorite story? Told by audio tape, book, movie,
Concentrate on his driving.
father, grandfather, any?
I think probably Saki's story.
Oh, he's going to drive right over.
Got a little palm tree branch.
Seems awfully high. I don't know.
Saki's story?
Yeah, called the short. It's known as the world's famous. One of the world's famous short stories, and I'm trying to think of the name of it.
What was it about? More.
Essentially.
I just turned it up there. On.
Oh,
This was off.
All right. Thank you.
Oh.
Howard goes to 5.
Oh. Okay.
Uh-oh. This is bad. I only have one hearing.
That.
That.
Which ear is it on?
Actually, there's 2 stories I like.
You can't get
John,
that
I
one
can't
ear.
remember who wrote it. It's called The Most Maddening Story in the World.
Marshall?
Now back to the Saki story. When was that written?
I would say in the 1930s, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And essentially, this guy comes to a house. Oh, I can't see the light. See any cars coming? And,
All clear.
And to visit. And this young little girl meets him at the door, and he says, "Hello, I'm here to see Mrs. Twillingham." And she says, "Well, Mrs. Twillingham isn't here just now, but I'm sure if you wait a bit, you will see her very soon." And he says, "That's nice of you to have me come in." She says, "Oh, it's a pleasure." And he looks, it's a beautiful day. It's a lovely, lovely day. You'll notice that the doors are open to the outside, yeah. He says, "Isn't it kind of chilly for that?" She says, "Well, no, she always leaves it open every day." Why? He says, "Well, 5 years ago, her husband and son went out hunting, and they never came back."
Howard, for purposes of the interview, could you please give us a little briefer synopsis of this story?
It's a short story. It's only a page and a half long. I can't get through with the traffic and everything else. And she says, quote, he always leaves the door open for them because pretty soon she'll come running down and she hears, "Tweety, Tweety, we're here. We're back from the trip." And she always comes running down to see them. He says, "You mean every year they've been gone for 5 years?" He says, "Yeah, the jungle ate them up. That was the end of it." really? Oh my goodness. Pretty soon, Mrs. Trillingham comes down, and she says, yes, the doors are open in case my husband and son return at this time. He says, oh, really? Really? And just then, he hears a voice, Tweety, Tweety, we're home. She runs out to greet them. They're home, they're home. And at that point, the man jumps up and runs out of the house. And the story ends when the little girl says, romance in short order was her forte.
It's a lovely story. I'm glad we have that on tape so we can replay that.
What?
Anybody else have a question?
Grandpa, why are you taking this interview?
Because he didn't know what else to do with the camera. And but the most maddening story in the world is about a guy who is given a slip of paper, and he gets this slip of paper, but he can't understand what it says. So he takes it to somebody, and he says, I'm sorry, sir. He says, you're a linguist, and you know many languages, don't you? Oh, yes, I know many languages. He says, well, would you mind just translating this for me? The guy looks at it. He says, get out of this house immediately. Don't you ever darken my doorsteps again. Go. He throws him out.
Okay, what'd the paper say? I don't have that much tape left.
Well, that's the point of the story. And so he says, he goes to his club. And he goes to his club, and he says, he calls over the maitre d'. He says, you know, Charles, you've been here a long time, haven't you? Oh, yes, I've been here for ages. He says, you speak many languages, I have many customers. He says, would you mind, he says, just help me, I have a little problem here. Someone gave me this slip with this note on the thing. I haven't been able to translate or read it. Hands it to him. Charles just looks and says, sir, I will meet with the board of directors in the morning to throw you out of the club, but you were out. That's it. That's the end of it. Well, this goes on and on and on, cutting the story short because it's many pages long. He gets down to it, and finally he's on board a ship. And the guy turns to him. He says, sir, you look troubled. He says, oh, I'm troubled. I've had this slip of paper, and he recounts what everything that's happened to him and how it's going on and on and on. The guy says, you know, let me see it. He says, no. If I do it, you'll probably throw me overboard. He says, no, I won't. He says, but I have a suspicion. He says, you have a suspicion? Yes, I think I could solve it. He hands him the slip of paper. The guy looks at it and says, just as I thought. It's empty.
It's what?
How many empty? There's got to be writing on it.
Don't get it.
I don't get it.
We don't get it.
The most maddening story.
The most maddening.
What was the first car you ever owned? Howard?
Yeah?
What was the first car you ever owned?
I don't remember.
You don't remember, okay. And what year did you get it?
I don't remember.
And what color was it?
I don't remember.
And how fast did it go?
You mean while I was moving?
We're approaching downtown San Diego. A little foggy today, a little shroudy.
But
Howard, what year did you graduate law school?
1948.
And from what school?
USC.
And your undergraduate studies?
UCLA.
UCLA, USC. You got Southern California covered. And what do you see as the biggest difference in the legal system between the time that you first passed the bar to now?
Too many lawyers.
Too many lawyers. Okay. So everything is specialized. And what is your specialty?
Construction, building.
Okay. And what is the most memorable case you've ever had? Like, you don't remember any of them?
I remember all.
You remember all of them?
No, that's not true. I remember a great many of them.
What's the first one you remember?
A case called Green